might take a while, but it started in 5th grade. There were like some people, I started social media when I was in 5th grade, and there was some people like talking bad about me, and they were like saying things like I have a big forehead, which a lot of people don't think is true. And people called me ugly and chubby, and I was bigger than a lot of my friends. And one girl always grabbed my stomach, which made me really insecure about myself. And when it really started was in 6th grade when I switched schools. Because I switched to here to Gildersleeve, and that's a public school. And there was a lot of mean people there, and I wasn't expecting anything that really happened. But people really started calling me mean things, like the thing with the head is they call me Frankenstein because my head is too big. And like I said, people called me chubby and ugly and stuff like that. And it really made my self-esteem go down a lot. And I became really quiet and like antisocial because I was scared to talk to anyone because I thought they were judging me no matter what I did. And then in 7th grade, it got really bad. Like, I had to go to Florida for a trip, and I went bathing suit shopping, and I was in the dressing room and I was literally crying really hard because I couldn't stand what I looked like. I just felt like I couldn't be in the world without people judging me. And I really hated what I looked like. I thought I was ugly and like overweight. And I started wearing a lot of makeup in black to like cover all my insecurities. And I started to stop eating and leaving friends. And like all I ate for breakfast and lunch was like watermelon or something. And I counted calories of every little thing I ate. And I refused to go to school. I was always crying. And my mom noticed something was wrong. Like I said, when I was in Florida, it started getting really bad with like not going to the beach and stuff like that, and just like wearing a lot to cover up everything. And she took me to my first counselor, and I absolutely hated her for it, but I did it. And she told me to do things, but I still wouldn't do it because I still hated myself no matter what. Like, she told me to eat, and I still couldn't eat. She told me to like do all these things to cope with it, but it wouldn't work no matter what I did. And like I still kept losing weight, and I came really pale and weak, and like Sophia said, she could barely get out of school in the morning. And out of bed for school in the morning. Like, I wouldn't even get up. I just laid there crying like all day because I felt like everyone hated me. I felt really alone. And during that, like I said, I literally didn't eat anything. I went days without eating. The days that I was hungry, I actually just like ate a carrot or something, and I was still guilty for that. I would eat nothing. And so I became 98 pounds. This was like November of 2015, so it was recently. I was like 98 pounds when I was 130 in the beginning of all of this. So I was underweight by like 15 to 20 pounds. And you started seeing my ribs and my legs gave out whenever I tried to walk. And I couldn't breathe very well. And so I went to see my doctor, and she sent me to a psychologist for like an eating disorder specialty psychologist. And she told me I would die soon if I kept going the way I was, so she forced me to eat. And she sent me a nutritionist, which gave me food and meal plans I had to follow, or something would happen. Like I would have to go to like a home or something that would help me with all of this. And because I had to eat, I started hating myself even worse. Like I couldn't handle myself. I like threw things at the mirror. I cried every single like second because I couldn't handle myself. I felt like everyone hated me too. And I still was like, I had no friends, and I felt really alone. And so I started exercising way too much. Like, since I was getting forced to eat, I wanted to still burn off everything that I ate to still make myself feel fine, which I wasn't fine, but I tried to act like I was. But even with eating, I kept losing weight, and I got like 93 pounds at the end of this. And I started having really bad breakdowns from depression and anxiety. Like I had anxiety attacks. I couldn't look in the mirror without crying. I couldn't get ready for school without freaking out because I felt like someone was always going to bring me down, whatever I did. Like if you're just walking into school, I felt like whenever someone looked at me, I felt like they were judging me. And I stayed home from school for like 2 weeks to 3 weeks because I couldn't get myself to school because of my anxiety attacks. I couldn't. like whenever I got up, I just bursted out crying. I had to like go back to bed because I couldn't get myself to move. So I switched schools to here, but before that, I was so bad that my mom took me to Newport News Behavioral Health Center because she wanted to see if I was bad enough to get admitted for really good help. And good thing, but bad thing at the same time. Well, I didn't get admitted because I didn't have a plan to kill myself, even though I was kind of suicidal then. But I never made a plan. So I didn't get admitted. I just stayed home, kind of suffering. But yeah, I got through it. I switched schools to Warwick River, which really helped. But a lot of people don't know this, but I became bulimic. So I threw up every single time I ate because I still felt fat. I threw up everything. Like if I didn't, I would like be so guilty. And it went for about a month. And then self-harm started. Like I started wanting to cut myself, and I mean it started off like innocently, like I did like 1 or 2, but then it started getting worse. And my mom found out somehow, so she like begged me to stop because she was crying a lot. So I felt really bad for it, and it gradually got worse, and I started getting addicted. And yeah, that went on for like a month or 2, and then, which this was the worst part of it, is I go to an adolescent pediatrician for my eating disorder and like mental health stuff. And she put me on a 3,000 calorie diet to gain 15 to 20 pounds. He put me on a diet. And when he told me that, I like literally flipped out. I couldn't do it because I just hated myself so much that I felt like whenever I ate, just eating like 1,000 calories a day, I felt like I was overweight. And I hated myself. But I got forced to do this, and I knew I had to do it because I needed to get better. Like if I kept going, I would have died. And I didn't, so that's good. But my depression started getting worse because of my negative self-image. Like no matter what, I felt like I was always gonna have a bad day. Like whenever I woke up, I never had any like feelings of hope. Like I felt like I was always gonna be sad. I never thought there was gonna be like a good future ahead of me. But then soon after that, I started getting a little better because I started making more friends, and they like helped me through a lot of stuff. And I did get to a decent weight, and I gradually got my control of my eating back so I could eat what I want. But I would still have to have close watch over me and everything. But I did get control back. And I've been pretty good since then, actually. I still have really bad negative self-image, and I always thinking about relapsing sometimes, but I'm never going to because I know I don't want to go back to how I was. That was not good. And everything has gotten better. I've been more social and making more friends, and and I do still see a counselor with everything, and she's really awesome. Like she helps a lot. She's like the only counselor. I had 3 or 4 counselors in my life, and none of them helped besides this one. We're like really close, and I like it. And there's no shame in seeing a counselor if you ever need help with any of this. And like it really helps. And Miss Weil really helps. I go to her for a lot of things, and I think it's a really good idea to do that. And well, that's my story. And I just want to know that you're beautiful the way you are, and you shouldn't change yourself for other people. And you may not like yourself, but you should, because you are yourself. No one can change you. Like if someone hates you for who you are, people are going to hate you, people are going to love you your whole life. You're always going to have haters like that in the world. But you should never let them bring you down. Just be yourself and try to keep going and try to get through in like a really positive way.